Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the series. We're picking up the action in Mark chapter 11. Jesus has entered Jerusalem as the humble, gentle king riding on the foal of a donkey. It says that he went to the temple, took a look around, but since it was already late, he then left, went to the village of Bethany outside Jerusalem. And the very next morning, Jesus woke up and he's hungry. He sees this fig tree in the distance and goes over to it expecting to find fruit. It was in leaf, but there was no fruit there, and he was not happy. He cursed the fig tree. He said, "May no one ever eat any fruit from you again." Maybe he hadn't had his morning coffee. He was not happy. But then he goes into Jerusalem, he goes back to the temple area, and he starts overturning the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. He says, "Is it not written, my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers." Now, these two stories are linked in Mark's gospel: the cursing of the fig tree and the overturning of the tables in the temple courts. The fig tree was a picture of Israel or of Judaism, and though they had an appearance of godliness, there was no fruit, there was no substance to their religion. In fact, they had become so corrupted that they were using the courts of the Gentiles, where people from other nations were meant to be able to come and experience the presence of God, to come and encounter the goodness of God. They had set up market there. They had set up shop and they were overcharging, and it was so far from the heart of God that Jesus just did his nana. Jesus did his block that day. I'll tell you what, some of the other gospels tell us that he took a whip and he's cracking it. Like, Jesus goes ballistic on these guys. Why? Not because he was out of control or he was violent, but because the purpose of the house of God had been corrupted and was serving the desires of selfish, religious men. This fruitless fig tree is a picture of empty religion, where there's a lot of form, but there's no substance. Well, there might be a lot of talk, but there's no genuine walk. And by Jesus' time, that's what the Jewish religion had become: empty, fruitless, hollow, corrupt. And what God had intended to be a place where people from every nation could come and encounter his presence had become something that served only a select few. And Jesus was furious. And let that be a lesson to any of us who would seek to represent God or speak on his behalf. God looks for the substance. God looks for the fruit in our lives. God looks for the authentic walk, not just the religious talk.